Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Ali. I'm a final year medical student at Cambridge University, and in this video we're going to be talking about 12 tips that might help you if you're nervous about your upcoming medicine interviews. A few things to begin with. Firstly, this channel has now hit 1,000 subscribers, which is really exciting. So thank you very much if you're a subscriber. If you're not, then thank you for watching the video anyway, but please consider subscribing. There's a button just down underneath the video. Secondly, we've got exams coming up in the near future, so I've actually been spending a lot of time just sitting on YouTube and wasting time. So if you have any questions about the medicine applications or anything like that, or if you've got any suggestions for videos that we could be doing, please leave a comment down below and I will definitely read it and definitely get back to you. So yeah, that's out of the way. Let's talk about what to do if you're nervous about your interviews. First thing to say is that action is the antidote to anxiety. That's a nice little thing that one of our tutors said the other day. And I think it really applies here. If you're anxious about the interviews, firstly, don't worry too much because everyone has some level of anxiety, some level of nerves about the medicine interview. But if you are nervous about it, then the best thing you can do is prepare a lot for it in advance. And I think the best way of doing that by far is by just doing loads and loads of mock practice interviews with your friends, your family, your teachers. If you know any doctors, get them to give you some mock interview questions. But I mean, ultimately, the more you can get used to sitting in front of someone or multiple people and talking about like your motivations for doing medicine, you know, what makes a good doctor, all these kinds of standard interview questions, the more comfortable you're going to be on the day. So that's probably the biggest thing. Now we're going to roll through 12 tips from various medical students, giving their own perspective on what to do if you're nervous. One thing you'll see that's a fairly common theme is that everyone is nervous about it and everyone recommends practicing a lot of mock interviews. But hopefully, if you watch the rest of this video, you'll find some useful tips that you can use if you are nervous about the medicine interview. So as usual, timestamps to everything down below in the description, and I'm just going to run through the 12 tips and then I will see you at the end for the classic like, comment, subscribe banter. Cool, see you shortly.
Well, I think first of all, it's worth saying that it's okay to be nervous, and when you turn up, they know you're going to be nervous. There isn't going to be a single person who walks in who is going to act like they do on a daily basis. This is a weird, strange situation to be in, and they are aware of that and they're ready for that.
So I understand that they can be incredibly nerve-wracking. I mean, even with all the preparation I had, I was very nervous beforehand and I may have cried afterwards. But I say my main tip is to remember that no one here doesn't want you to do well. Cambridge, particularly within the colleges, when they pick you for interview, they've picked you for a reason. It's because they see potential in you. Anywhere that you've been picked for an interview, it's because they kind of see potential in you and they're thinking about, we could really do with this person here. So if you go in with that mindset that actually the interviewers don't hate you and they're not trying to trip you up, but they really want to see you do well because they want to work with you, I think that can make you feel a bit more confident when you go in there.
I think a lot of the confidence is it's very much, if you don't have the confidence, fake it until you make it, because it's just about practice, learning how to pretend that you're confident so you know what, you really believe it. And a lot of people they don't like the idea of being put in the spot and not knowing what's going to happen. The uncertainty just terrifies them, and I think I was quite similar. I didn't like not knowing what was going to happen. And that's where the practice comes in, because you get, not only do you get to practice being spontaneous, but you practice dealing with that sort of like unease of not knowing what's going to happen. And that's really important in interviews, because you don't know what they're going to ask you. Sure, you know, why medicine, or like why this medical school or whatever, but they could ask you anything. And especially sort of a Cambridge interview, they throw curveballs sometimes. So you want to be able to not panic, realize that, you know what, you just calm down, think of what they asked and like decide how you can answer.
Although some people will talk a good game, I think everybody is slightly nervous about every interview, so you won't be at all in the minority. A good tip I would find is that if you're asked a question that puts you on the spot, just take some time and actually think about it. You'll never get penalised for actually thinking in these interviews. It seems as if everybody just sort of cues responses and prepares things almost off by heart for the most common questions, like why medicine, why this place? But there's really nothing wrong with actually just pausing and taking a moment to think if a question catches you off guard, rather than just finding yourself talking without any idea about where it's going. But for the interview overall, I would just say the more practice you get, the more you're used to putting yourself in a slightly uncomfortable situation, and that will help you a lot in the long run.
Just if anything, sort of enjoy it, because it's quite a nice process as well, actually. And once you sort of calm down a bit, it's good to be able to show that actually you're enjoying this, you're enjoying being able to talk about why you want to do this amazing thing.
Exactly.
And I think that would help your interview as well.
And I think the more practice you do, the more you realize that it's not really that hard. And I think watching videos like this one, and if you look on the channel, we've got videos of medical students answering interview questions. Hopefully that'll show you that answering these interview questions isn't that hard. Like, everyone gets, for example, why medicine? Everyone worries about this, thinking that they have to make something new, something exciting for why medicine. But you can pretty much just say, I like science and I want to help people, and that would be acceptable.
I think, yeah, on a practical level as well, make sure you're in the best place you can be for the interview. So make sure you get enough sleep the night before, have a good breakfast, make sure you're wearing, something you're comfortable in, like not a stiff suit or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Just things like that can help ease your mind. And just, everyone will be nervous. It's a really, really nerve-wracking thing going to a medical interview. And also, I think taking things step by step, so not thinking about what's going to happen when I get the result, what's going to happen if I don't get in. Just take things day by day. Okay, I'm just going to go for this interview, I'm going to try my best. I'm not going to think about the result. Because I think when you start thinking about the results and things, you start to get...
Yeah, you don't need it at that point in time. Just focus on the interview, go all out for that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what happens later after the interview, but at that moment in time, you're in the interview, just give it your all.
Yeah.
Relax.
And remember, the interviewers aren't out to make you feel nervous. They want to get the best out of you. And they are on your side. So if you're passionate about medicine, just think you're talking about a really passionate hobby that you really want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a test. They just want to get the best out of you.
So a lot of it is, I think you can often tell that the tutors we have here, so you can tell who has prepared for an interview, but it's often not that they come out with better stuff or that they're our tutors are especially impressed when people look coached. It's more, are you comfortable? Will you do yourself justice in an interview setting? So if you've never ever had an interview before and your first one is in some fancy room somewhere or in the middle of a big city and you're flustered because you've just got there in the train, and all this conspires against you for constructing your thoughts well. So if you've done interviews lots of times before, it doesn't matter if you're asked the same questions again. If you're used to verbalizing your thoughts, if you're used to articulating yourself, then that will go such a long way in the real thing. And you'll also probably get asked a lot of the predictable questions. If you give even your parents your personal statement and then say, ask me questions off this, they'll probably come up with some of the same stuff that a bunch of interview tutors would as well. So the more comfortable you can make yourself in an interview setting, that'll go a long way.
I was very stressed before my interviews, and so the way that I prepared myself was by speaking to friends, family, whoever would really listen, just about my subject, about medicine, having casual conversations about it so that I was used to speaking in that way and used to talking about it, so that it wasn't completely alien when I did turn up and have to do it. And I guess just making sure, if you've read through your personal statement a few times, you know what you are going to have to defend and what you're going to have to show them. So as long as you've prepared, then you can be as calm as possible, but be aware that when you turn up it is scary and it will be scary, but they're ready for that as well.
Don't be nervous. Okay, I had so much fun during my MMIs because there's something I think really entertaining about in a short space of time meeting 6 to 10 people and having to make a first impression. Because I don't know, it might just be me, but I love meeting new people, so I completely embraced it. I loved the fact that I was going to walk into a room with a random stranger and have 5 minutes to make them like me and make them want me. So I kind of fed off that, but I think you definitely shouldn't be nervous, because if you've got to the interview point, so there's obviously something good about you. All they want to make sure is that you're a human, if that makes sense. So I think that's a reason definitely not to be nervous, and I think nervousness comes across a lot. So I think if you go in with the right mindset that you're going to enjoy this, that you can do this, you've got this, and you've prepared, then I don't think there's any reason to be nervous.
Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. That was 12 tips that hopefully you found somewhat useful if you are nervous about your medicine interviews. Just to reiterate, firstly, everyone is nervous about the medicine interviews, so you're definitely not alone. And secondly, make sure you just do loads and loads of mock practice interviews with your friends. I find that's by far the best way of combating these nerves. And hopefully you've got some tips that you can refer to as well, and as usual, timestamps down below. So, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube. It really helps, and it boosts my ego, because then the thumb count gets increased, and that's always nice. Secondly, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. We've got loads more videos coming out about interview prep and other things, and I do vlogs about life as a medical student as well, which you may find vaguely interesting as well. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.